Welcome to Greenville, guys. Super excited to be here. Thanks, Mike and the spam team for having me. I'm super excited. And so I really just want to share a little bit of perspective with you guys, just from the standpoint of how you can get the most out of your marketing and hopefully frame the value that each of you bring to your organization in maybe a different kind of way. So as Mike said, I'm Jesse. I've got a lot of irons in the fire. That's the phrase I keep using when I'm talking to people the last couple of days. But I'm ECD at Clemson University's in-house creative team. And so that's kind of the one job. I'm also creative director for Marketing Rhythm. My partner's somewhere, Robbie, he's back there probably being hype man. Yeah, we're a email marketing consultancy right here in Greenville. This is sort of a unique kind of collision of my worlds, being kind of in the Clemson MBA space and also email unspam awesomeness happening today. And so I really kind of just wanted to lean into that like collision of worlds. And I'm first and foremost a brand guy, but I also specialize in email. And so with these kind of two areas of focus colliding, I thought it was maybe interesting to think about the way that that customers connect with brands and how that influences their relationship, and see if I can maybe frame that up for you guys as a takeaway that pertains to how to demonstrate your value in your organization. So the idea of brand experience is a little bit of a buzzword, and it's been around for a little while. I've had the pleasure of kind of unpacking it as part of my role with Clemson. For a little while, we had a vice president who was really pushing us to invest in like experiential marketing and activations as just a way to surprise and delight audiences and to pop up and bring our brand into different contexts. And so we've done this a number of times, and we're really kind of refining the way that we're doing it, trying to make it more successful. And so, yeah, basically I've thought a lot about this, and if you'll humor me, I'm going to try to draw a comparison between what we're here to really talk about, which is email, and this idea of brand experience, and see if we can reverse engineer takeaway from that today. So I had the pleasure of going a while back to South by Southwest with my partner, Robbie. And yeah, South by Southwest fans, yeah. Or just Robbie fans, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, if you've never been to South by Southwest, it's a enormous conference, fantastic programming, massive trade show. There's a lot to do there, but really my favorite part of South by Southwest is actually a place called Rainey Street. Has anybody been to Rainey Street before? So Rainey Street is a part of town in Austin that gets totally taken over at South by Southwest, and entire houses and bars and all sorts of things on Rainey Street get totally transformed into these immersive brand experiences. The first time I saw Rainey Street was really the first time I felt like I had experienced brand activation like at scale. And it was really interesting to me, and started to get my wheels turning about what this world kind of looks like with brand activation. And so ahead of this talk, I went and sort of dug into South by Southwest this year. I didn't go, but I wanted to see what was happening. And I found a bunch of articles about, the Sharpie Papermate house on Rainey Street, the Paramount Lodge, the Delta Sky Miles Lounge, which sounds super fancy, and the Fallout Amazon Video activation, which is considerably less fancy, but probably still pretty cool. The thing is, these activations, they're great for making a splash, for generating PR buzz and social buzz, all that good stuff, right? But unless this guy's your marketing director, you're probably not going to be able to invest in the same way that Amazon does or that Paramount does. So why then do brands keep pursuing this kind of thing and putting their marketing dollars towards that? According to a roundup on experiential marketing by G2, here are some stats that I could find. 29% of brands use experiential marketing for their brand, making it one of the top 5 marketing channels. 84% believe experiential marketing is crucial to their strategy. 40% of businesses believe conferences are an effective way of meeting business objectives. So there's certainly this belief that these types of tactics work to drive positive brand experience, to make memorable moments with their customers, and it's likely that brands will continue to invest in this sort of thing. So, okay, why are we talking about this stuff? Who booked this guy? Isn't it all a little bit out of reach, the scale of some of these activations? Most likely, again, we don't work with this guy, but if you will, allow me, I'm gonna propose that email actually creates positive experiences too. And to take it a bit further, they create experiences that actually matter to people. They create relevant experiences, lasting experiences, relationships, right? And that's sort of the key difference. This is a snapshot at kind of our model at Marketing Rhythm, how we operate as a consultancy, sort of these 3 core areas: email automations, campaigns, and how we view audiences. So much of what we do is based on what we know about our clients and their customers from a data perspective. That informs everything that we do. I could spend a while unpacking this. I won't. I'll talk to Robbie if you want to deep dive this. He could probably go on for days. I show you that to say the ways in which email shines, I think, are the ways in which brand experiences can fall short. And so I thought it would be interesting to look at these two adjacent ideas or tactics and compare. So if we think about email automation versus brand activations, I think we would notice that with brand activations, you tend to have to treat everyone the same. No matter how deeply ingrained in the brand they are or where they are in their journey, you have kind of one opportunity to create an experience that's going to feel the same regardless of who's experiencing it. And you can't adjust or change based on someone's needs or preferences. You don't have a lot of mechanisms to really in real time react to their kind of personal customer needs. And you don't know if they're your biggest fan or if they're just there to get all the free merch that you're giving out, right? If we look at campaigns, you've got no way of really getting them back. They can experience the moment once. Maybe you get their email or maybe you create a social follower, but you don't know for sure that you're going to get another shot to meet them in any other context, which is a bummer. You're also approaching with intensity rather than consistency. You have one moment to make a big splash. Robbie and I were talking, and I think a great visual for this is Valentine's Day, right? If you've ever had a significant other that like really shows up on Valentine's Day, they bring all the things, right? There's flower petals in the floor, and there's all sorts of elaborate stuff. And then the rest of the year, there's nothing going on. Intensity versus consistency, I think, is the key kind of contrast there. And with audience building, we don't get to evolve how we engage with people over time. They're only there the one time. And we can't collect data that we can use in real time. We can't modify their experience real time as they're experiencing it. And we can't earn the right to ask for more data in many contexts. And so with our model, we want to understand what customers need over time. And we may achieve the bottom of this chart with brand activation. We might create a follower. We might capture an email, but that's the extent of it unless we move a lot of mountains to keep that relationship building. But with email, we can take it the rest of the way, right? And this is that relationship building where we can really nurture how we're speaking to them, evolve it over time, and create real value in that process to generate customers, repeat customers that refer, right? So let's circle back to South by Southwest for a minute. It's estimated that brand experiences of 2,500 square feet or so in a single location for 3 to 5 days requires a minimum investment of $100,000. And for the things I showed you earlier, the South by Southwest kind of stuff, I think you're looking much more at $1 million plus to put on a brand activation like that. Last summer at Clemson, we had the opportunity to kind of pop up within GE's brand activation at the Paris Air Show in France, which was crazy. And they had turned an entire hangar into this like chalet, just GE branding everywhere. It was crazy. I think they spent upwards of $15 to $20 million putting that activation on. So we're talking about expensive marketing, right? So imagine then that you're a particular sparkling water brand and you spend $1 million creating this immersive experience. You've got a ball pet, you've got custom pink lawn chairs, you've got lots of drinks to give out. You bring the whole staff, you've got merch and graphics and all this stuff, lodging, 5 days in Austin, Texas, and peak tourism timeframe. And maybe you get some good press and some good PR buzz, but you also get this. I'm here and I don't get it. I see thousands of people walking around and they don't seem to be doing anything specific. It just seems like everyone's walking around for the sake of it. So if the moment doesn't matter to people, then it's not really doing its job and you've spent all this money there. The thing is, financially, relationally, the payoff is hard to quantify. Letting that kind of marinate for a minute. Let's circle back to my original premise here with a couple of key takeaways that can maybe get you thinking more on this. If content is king, context is queen, and she's the one that actually rules the kingdom. Using the data you have to connect content to context for the audience is one of the most powerful ways you can make a meaningful connection. Even product promotions are more valuable when you understand the life stage that the customer's at with your business. You guys have hopefully enjoyed the coffee the last 2 days. Methodical is one of our clients and we love them. Excellent coffee. Please buy a bag while you're here in Greenville. It's great stuff. As we're thinking about planning and building their email automations and their campaigns, we focus on these general categories that customers fit into. We map the content we serve up to them and the product suggestions we serve to their unique context. Are they a first-time purchaser? Are they a repeat non-subscriber? Are they a subscriber? As much as we can, if we can align their experiences around the categories they fall into with the communications that we're sending, then overall their experience is going to be a lot more positive. even going as far as incorporating this context into the delivery experience. Providing custom order notifications and delivery sequence notifications, it keeps them informed of where their order is at, adjacent to value add content that we're able to serve up, and even pointing them to customized tracking pages. Each page here for each of those categories speaks to the customer in a unique way based on where they're at. So if I'm a first-time purchaser, then a subscription pitch might feel a little heavy-handed and a little on the nose. But if I'm a repeat purchaser, I might be considering subscriptions. And so modifying what the customer experience for that type of person makes a lot of sense. And if I'm already a subscriber, then I definitely don't want to see subscription offers, right? Like I don't need a second subscription. Brew gear or tutorials on how to brew my coffee a different way than I've thought about before is a real big value add. So take another example. With our Client Plus Plus, we recognized that some customers were making their purchase and kind of having the initial experience with the product. They were building the thing that was on the label when they bought the kit. And then they're sort of losing it in the couch or leaving it somewhere and not really coming back around to it. So we wanted to find a way to give customers a good experience with their product after the initial kind of intended use case for those pieces and keep them engaged beyond that initial kind of purchase window. And so an easy way to do this ended up to be rolling out these printable 2D build guides. We share these out in email campaigns, and it allows customers to continue their relationship with the product that they've already purchased. We're not even necessarily like pushing heavily on buy more plus plus, but rather here are some interesting things you can create with the product you already have, right? We're keeping the drumbeat of content going with that customer and teaching them ways that they can keep finding new value through what they've previously purchased on. And so this gives us a constant drumbeat of content to tap into. We can create these over and over again, right? And continue to serve these up. Our sequence is normally monthly or twice monthly for these 2D guides. And it's just a great way to kind of keep a consistent pace with what we're sending so that we're not constantly having to drum up a new way to communicate with them. So that was takeaway number one. My second is to invest in memorable moments with an ROI and be prepared to prove that out. That's hopefully what I hope you'll take away from this talk today. One of our clients, Farmhouse Tack, we started working with them back in 2019, and they're in a niche market. They have a ton of internal subject matter experts on staff. These people know everything there is to know about horse riding and anything that's adjacent to horse riding. They just know it. Being able to tap into that expertise has been super powerful for us. We've sent 4 to 5 emails a week for them since they came on. But the key for Farmhouse Tack has really been to lean into that subject matter expertise and invest in that constant drumbeat of content, even if the content doesn't directly sell, which is interesting. It's things like recommendations on hairstyles for a riding competition, or a roundup of nuggets that they found at a trade show or a competition, right? The thing is, the ROI on this kind of thing, as far as time is concerned, is really, really powerful. They already know this stuff. They're already paying attention to these shows, to these conferences. They already know these products in and out. So it takes them very little time to drum up content here that we can easily repurpose into email campaigns that feel hyper relevant to the end customer, and ultimately that are just educating them more on the stuff that they love, which is horse riding. We're able to see over time that ROI because of experimentation with value add content. The revenue keeps increasing, and we're able to see that despite the fact that we're not always pushing a sell. We're adding value. So far, Farmhouse Tack's biggest driver of revenue has been email. It keeps growing. Their business keeps growing, and we're just about to go into their busiest season. So what's the point here? Why are we talking about all this? The point is that your brand is not the sun in the solar system. That's coming from a brand guy. I'm a brand guy. I love brand. I think it's important, but it's not more important than your customer. And so as each of you are advocating for your marketing spend in the email space, look for ways to position what you do, the value you bring, as more effective and more economical than some of these other marketing tactics that are getting a lot of attention in the industry. If you focus on the experience of the customer rather than the way the customer experiences the brand, then that loyalty will come. And I think retaining loyal customers over time is that real ROI that your marketing director is looking for. Thank you guys for the time.